his effectiveness. Because of his ability to go outside and shoot as a big man, you must go out and cover him. When you do, that sets up the perfect high-low game between Cook and Smith. He breaks out, gets the pass. You got to play him. That opens up the space inside to Smith with a nice little jump hook. Tough to stop when you've got two guys approaching 7 foot with that kind of talent.
It is Indiana and Illinois. We'll be back with the tip in just a moment on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the Big Ten Conference Tournament presented by Intel is sponsored by Intel Centrino Mobile Technology, laptop technology designed to unwire your life. Kia and the all-new Sorento SUV. Kia, make every mile count. And by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Back at the United Center for Indiana and Illinois. And Mike Davis, his third season, head coach at Indiana. Took them all the way to the championship game a year ago. Final Four in Atlanta. He starts with Newton up front, along with George Leach. A couple of good players inside with Coverdale, Wright, Strickland. The backcourt for Indiana. Bill Self is on the sidelines for Illinois, his third season. His team fast emerging here.
Jim, when's the last time you saw a game of this magnitude and the four guards are all freshmen?
Brown and Williams, there they are, freshmen in the backcourt for Illinois.
Strickland and Gracie Wright for Indiana.
Controlled by Illinois in the whites. Of course, Darren Williams of Illinois and Gracie Wright of Indiana were high school teammates down in the Dallas area.
And remember, in the first game played at Indiana, Gracie Wright was injured, did not play in that one.
Williams, three-point shot, the freshman bangs it home.
Good cross-court passing by Illinois. And this may be an exaggeration, but I don't know if anybody has played any better than Kentucky this year going down the stretch. But Illinois probably comes closer than anyone the last month of this season.
It is a deep team and very young, but they do have one anchor for them with experience, and that's the senior Cook, the premier player in the league, number 34. Gracie Wright, freshman on the other side with a two-point shot.
High school teammates get the first two of the game.
Well, the three on the Illinois side, but these old high school teammates squaring off today.
Well, they were really looking forward to playing each other in Bloomington. And again, Wright not able to play. Their high school coach was there for that game.
Oh, boy. Again, it's Darren Williams. The Colony, hometown and high school. In the Dallas area, Texas. Coach Tommy Thomas, high school coach, came to watch him play in their first matchup, as you said, Billy.
Well, Williams was 0 for 8 in that game, never did get off. Leach, who did not get it going last night at all, was really yanked for A.J. Moye coming into the ball game, getting things started for Indiana.
High up, the arrow belongs to Illinois.
Leach, the Big Ten's #1 shot blocker, sometimes gets in a funk and sometimes comes really ready to play and puts on a show.
7 on the shot clock. Oh, Newton banged off the leg of Cook.
Down to 5, he's got to get something up.
2 seconds, 1 second on the shot clock. Strickland tried to tip it. That's a shot clock violation from three-quarters court.
That was about all that Newton could do there, though, Jim. Get the ball up on the glass, hope he hit the board, maybe hit the rim, get a long rebound. Not time for him to penetrate down the court, maybe for a guard, but not for Newton.
Oh, with a 3, yes.
Probably as big a difference as there is on this club is what Roger Powell has brought in every aspect of the game.
Stop it for a moment to have a word here with D. Brown.
Now, Powell is shooting 61%. And we're not talking about a guy down in the low post all the time. Shooting 44% from 3. So he has really given a lift and been exactly the man that Illinois needed at that 5th starting position.
Official stopped it there for a moment, Billy, trying to cut down on some of the chatter. As Strickland hits the 3 for Indiana.
Of course, Strickland was a subbed when they played against each other the first game this year.
Kicked around. Bracy Wright comes out with it. Got Coverdale in the corner. Pull up three. Way too long.
Wasn't really set. Needs a little more time than that to get that jumper off.
And Strickland got tangled with Cook. Whistle for it.
You know, one of the things, Jim, we've seen it time and time again with Coverdale, he loves coming off a curl move for that jump shot, particularly when he's going from his left to his right. Gliding down and taking it on the fast break on the sides, nowhere near as effective.
An Illinois team 22-6 on the year. Second in the regular season in the Big Ten to Wisconsin.
Good screen by Cook.
Powell for the second time. No. And Newton clears it.
Let's see if Indiana get Newton a touch or two down in low. Has not been a factor so far. Was huge in that first game. 28 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks.
Newton's had some big games this year and leads the league in double-doubles.
Not doing much to get him ball. Bracy right from way downtown over Powell.
How do you like that stroke?
He has some range. Yeah, that's as good a looking jump shot as you want to see. Maybe not the same stroke of Bassey's foul shot off the glass, but pretty good. Again, Cook not able to get anything going. Neither is Newton offensively.
Side jumper. Beautiful shot, and that's a 2-point basket.
Another freshman to freshman roll. Augustine, all freshman Big Ten this year. He and Brown made the first team.
Newton going to work now.
Shot was altered somewhat by Cook.
Augustine comes out with it.
Well, both teams really pushing the ball up the floor. Nice pass.
And Cook converts +1.
Brown so quick. And a nice running by Cook to be in position, realizing that the freshman will get him the ball.
Newton whistle for it.
That's just good hustle on Cook's part as a big man, because he knows that Brown is looking for him all the time. Actually a no-look pass, but still he knew that Cook was coming to fill the lane.
Illinois is hit 5 of its first 6 from the field. Ducks in front 13-8. And again, here on Selection Weekend on CBS, we've got the Pac-10 final tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Oregon, which figures to be in the field, even with a loss tonight, if it lost, against USC, which would take a bid away from someone if USC won the automatic tonight. We'll have a similar scenario here tomorrow in Chicago with Ohio State, the 8th seed. The only way it can get into the field is to win tomorrow, taking on the winner of this game.
Newton setting all the screens and now looking to post up down inside. Cook right there with him. Newton Leach jumps so early. He'd have held his ground right there. He'd had an easy putback.
Williams, Ward on the 3. Strickland skied. Last touch by Illinois Brown. It's an Indiana team that a week ago, in a real mystery loss up at Penn State, lost to a team that had, going into the game, won only one conference game. Turned around, had to play them again on Thursday here in the Big Ten tournament, and won convincingly. They backed it up with a win over Michigan last night.
A 28-point victory over Penn State at that point was the biggest margin of victory ever in the Big Ten tournament. Illinois eclipsed that yesterday.
Illinois led by as many as 40 yesterday in its game against Northwestern. Trailed for only 23 seconds. Again, had a lead of 40, had 11 different players score in the game. And this is an Illinois team that, comes in here to the United Center, plays 1 or 2 games of regular season here. They've won 6 overall in a row here at the United Center in Chicago.
Jim, yesterday in that Michigan game, Indiana got off to the slow start. They were down 30-25 at halftime, only shot 33% in the first half, and it was A.J. Moye that came off the bench that gave him the lift. Incredible lift in that basketball game, and I expect to see him shortly in this one
if Indiana doesn't get things moving here. Both teams match up very nicely, size-wise and quickness. As we pointed out, 4 freshmen on the floor in the basic backcourt positions.
And that last touch by Illinois, Indiana ball. These two teams, both NCAA tournament bound. And Illinois, as you say, has been playing perhaps late in the season as well as anybody, including Kentucky. Can you, with an all-freshman backcourt, Billy, in this day and age of college basketball, can you go the distance in the tournament with that youth in the backcourt?
Well, Larry Brown took, in 1980, he took all-freshman backcourt to the Final Four, so it can be done. He came up a little short in that one, but Louisville, and a guy named Darrell Griffin was a little bit too tough for UCLA at that time. Oh, right, no call.
Wow, what a collision inside.
Got to be a call.
It's Cook and Wright, 2 of the stars of the Big Ten, both down, both fine.
Well, you can see this bang right. Got to be a foul there. You talk about gaining an advantage. Boy, contact.
They rule him down at the 1.
Yep. Unbelievable. Let's see if there's any after effect on that, because Cook got hit right in the up in the thigh. He looks like he's moving okay. There's that high-low we talked about before the game.
Brown open 3. Augustine up in the air. Leach was on his back.
Boy, these teams really match up, don't they, Jim? When you look out on the floor, the athleticism and the size, almost man for man, position for position.
Mississippi State in the SEC final. Kentucky up 6 early second half. NC State beating Wake today. And Ed Hightower says outside a foul.
I think that's going to be Newton over the back of Cook. Nice job by Cook. Pump fake, getting Newton in the air.
That is the second on Newton here in the early going.
And that would change drastically the matchups if Indiana has to go small, and they're going to do that with A.J. Moye coming in. Cook goes right over the top.
Oh, wow, what a lob on the inbound.
Really going to change the complexion of this ball game with Newton going to have to sit down with those 2 quick fouls.
A.J. Moye poised to come in. Coverdale, he likes the long 3. Ooh, that hit down and out. Looks like it was good.
Illinois looking to run, moving that ball up the court. Second time today. Augustine gets that jumper off. Nothing there.
Gracie Wright takes it in the corner. A.J. Moye, who will be coming in as like a starter for Indiana, and such a spark plug in last year's run to the final game, and was really the hero last night against Michigan.
If it hadn't been for Powell's ability to stay right there, Gracie Wright was ready to go up for the jump shot.
4 minutes without a field goal for the Hoosiers. Newton breaks that skid.
Didn't mean to bank that. Expected more contact and a foul. Didn't get it.
That seems to be the theme of the day here. Didn't expect to bank it.
Nice double down that time by Strickland. Caused a problem. Terrific defensive maneuver by Indiana.
Cook shuffled the feet. I love the way how gracefully Cook climbs up after this one on the inbound.
Perfect pass right over the top of the defense. Look at Coverdale's reaction right there, realizing that this is a play that I'm sure Indiana has worked against in practice. Just better execution by Illinois.
Sean Harrington has come in for Illinois, sharpshooter number 24, defending here on Strickland. And also Nick Smith, 45, is in for Illinois, and he almost blocks that one. Hold on a minute, they say goaltending. Yep, basket interference. All 5 starters for Indiana have scored.
Now, both of these clubs opened the season on a torrid pace. Illinois getting knocked off by Memphis after they just destroyed a North Carolina team that had won the preseason NIT. That's the shot Coverdale likes.
He's been long today with those outside shots. On his first 2 attempts, Moye blocked by Smith.
But gets it back.
Smith at 7-2.
7-2. Moye about 6'3", would you say, at the most?
6'3", and I would say that might be a little generous. He is some kind of tough, though. Outside, and the whistle is on Brown of Illinois.
Brown, the former football player, although he doesn't have the size, doesn't mind the contact.
That final with Kentucky and Auburn in the early stages of the second half. How about Mississippi State this year, Billy? Some of their wins.
Yeah, they've been playing very well. Jim, kind of surprising, the Big Ten this year against the other 5 top power conferences. The SEC, they have a 5-2 record. It's the only one of the other 5 power conferences that they have a winning record against. They're 5-7 against the ACC, 2-7 Big 12, 1-5 Big East, and 1-2 Pac-10.
Loose ball picked up by Wright. Gonna have to wait for his teammates to get down there. Mississippi State advancing to that SEC final with its win over LSU today. Beat already this season Oklahoma and Xavier.
Now with Smith guarding Moyer, Indiana has to figure out a way to take advantage and make Smith play him outside. Good putback. Leach, terrific speed down the floor for a big man. Let's see if he'll step up in this game right now with his partner in crime, Newton, having to go to the bench because of 2 fouls.
Luther Head, number 4 with the ball, snaps it over Harrington. 43% from 3 this year.
Leads the Big Ten in that regard. Both teams getting back on defense extremely well in this game. Excellent defensive transition. Both teams are deep enough, so fatigue should not be a factor in this tournament for either one of them.
Strickland slices through and too strong. Cook went after it.
Moyer challenged him.
And it's Illinois ball. We're talking about how the Big Ten shapes up with the other power conferences. They're ranked 4th in the computer with the SEC. Rated the best conference by ranking by computer.
But isn't that amazing that the Big Ten's sitting down there in the 4th spot, but they have a 5-2 win deal over the SEC. And of course, one of those losses certainly is Indiana going down there to play against Kentucky in what was a very memorable game.
Yeah, a memorable ending.
Yep. Indiana started their season 10-0.
Oh, that rattles out. Smith tips
foul on the inside. Now, why would Smith, who's the biggest man on the floor, have to push off to get his hands on the tap back?
What the officials say, so he's called for it.
Well, he had 13 points, 4 rebounds in the loss to Indiana and in Bloomington. One of his better games of the year.
D. Brown is back. Freshman from Maywood, Illinois. Second team Big Ten. And as you said, Billy, all Big Ten freshman team. They didn't used to put up the all freshman team in this conference until this year. And there were some star freshmen this year in this league.
Well, Daniel Horton was picked as the freshman of the year. Really hampered last night, no question about it. That ankle injury he suffered before the ball game slowed him down, took away his penetration. But we may have been seeing Michigan in this semifinal.
Donald Perry into the game now for Indiana, and that one off of the mark.
Moyer again. What a nose for the ball.
What a pass. Leach
had to catch that ball.
It was a good pass. He squeezed it in there, did Moyer, but a turnover instead.
There's nobody pushes the ball up the court any quicker than Brown.
Harrington in traffic kicks it out. They snap it around. Can't find the open shot. Augustine's on the line.
He'd like to have that one back. Just pinched it. Quite a difference in the pace of this first half between these two teams and what we saw in the first game, wasn't it, Jim?
Yes, but the quick scoring we saw early in this game has backed off down the rim to be taken away. Basket interference on Augustine.
On the rim. If he'd have waited just a hair of a second later, it'd have been a legal play. But this ball will be still on the rim when he gets a piece of it. Heading on out, but still on the rim. Not much he can do about it. Any portion of that ball that's still in the cylinder creates the violation.
Kyle Hornsby seeing action, 32 for Indiana, a starter on the finalist team of a year ago. We haven't had a point in this game in almost 3 minutes. Tracy Wright unable to end that.
He's kind of surprised himself he missed that because that's his favorite move.
Inside, what a pass. D. Brown snaps it in to Augustine.
And Jim, what a catch as well. Now, here we have some action. Moyer and Augustine going back down court. Nice piece of officiating right here. They don't want to hear any yapping. They stopped the game earlier, and you pointed out so well, Jim.
Moyer got called for a technical.
He wouldn't stop.
He tried to get the last word in.
Jim, where did we see that before in regard to Indiana? Only it wasn't a player. Do you remember the great piece of officiating we saw in the Kentucky game in which Mike Davis was said, walk away, Mike, walk away. And there's Moyer who initiated the contact, trying to get a little cute, and gets burned. That was a great pass down there that started all of this sequence, but some catch by Augustine. Watch this catch in traffic. Great hands, because this was a bullet. Wayne. Nice.
It's amazing how many big guys you see who could not handle.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And as a guard, you have got to know what kind of hands the guy has that you're passing to. What could be a good pass to somebody is a bad pass to somebody else, as we saw Leach just a minute ago, missing what was a much easier pass to catch and put away.
Cook makes one of two, 18-15 Illinois. So they get the technical and the ball. Coverdale back to Indiana.
In a tight ball game, that can hurt you.
I don't know. Hold on a minute.
Well, not the ball, because it was a dead ball situation.
Now they caught themselves. They're about to hand it off to Illinois for the inbound pass, but they correct it. Indiana has it.
There you have Moyer being guarded by Cook in there, and Cook just envelops him. Moyer doesn't have any way to get any look.
7 on the shot clock. Coverdale working a game here with Leach. 2 on the shot clock. Banks it home.
Not too smart in regard to Augustine there, Jim. Where is Leach going? He's coming back with his left hand. I remember Bill Self in the scouting report on Indiana way back in the first time they played, said he will come back left. Wait on him.
Cook now with Moyer on the other side. Short on the jumper.
Nice rebound by Leach. And Moyer again showing his versatility, guarding the #1 scorer in the Big Ten Player of the Year, and giving up about 6-7 inches.
Hornsby with an opening, but blocked by Powell.
Hornsby needs a lot of room to get that shot off.
Powell. Oh, yes, bounces 2 or 3 times.
You know, we didn't mention this before, but Williams and Brown, the 2 freshman guards on the floor right now for Illinois, were 2-3 in the Big Ten in assists this year.
Separated by an assist.
Yeah, right.
1 assist difference. Coverdale inside the Leach.
Made that
fouled
catch
on the way up.
What happens to Leach a lot of times, Jim, in that passing, interior passing, is he takes his eye off the ball on the catch, looking to put it away. Here he's coming back left. He's coming back left, guys. Played him straight up. And it cost Illinois 2 points.
2 shots for Leach. Indiana early in the season winning the Maui Classic with wins over UMass, Gonzaga, Virginia in the final there. Leach, pretty good looking stroke at the line there. 2 for 2, 20-19 Illinois, 7 for Leach.
Here we're going to see, we always talked about, Jim, doubling down. Here's a cross-court double. Gracie Wright is going to come over. No way that Cook knows where he's coming from. And the double team worked to perfection as Cook got called for the travel. That might have been Strickland coming across there, but in either, yeah, it was Strickland. But in either case, a nice maneuver defensively by Indiana on the All-American.
Brown passed up a good look. Leave it to Cook to bypass the shot as well. Spinning, foul, bank, no good. Tipped around. Look at Moyer in the air.
Moyer and Brown. Brown does not mind the contact. As I said, outstanding high school quarterback. It looks like he hurt his elbow a little bit here, though. He's holding it.
It was a nasty fall.
Yeah. So quick on his feet.
Right.
Not quite set for the shot.
The scoring here has simmered down after a blazing start on each side.
Hey, Brown is holding that elbow, Jim. And you know he's not the kind of guy that's going to show any pain. He's probably going to come out with head getting ready to come in the game. Hit on the crazy bone there a little bit and just had to go to sleep on it.
Cook with that basket now has 8 of Illinois' 22.
Nobody sitting in these screens for Coverdale to rub off. Moyer would have been smart to set the screen, make Cook come out on him, and then break to the basket. There it is.
Moyer.
Great play. Didn't work out for him, but a great play.
Acrobatic, wasn't it?
Indiana could run that for the rest of the half.
Get complete NCAA tournament coverage with live updated brackets, the latest developments on the road to the Final Four. It's all at CBSSportsLine.com or on America Online. Keyword CBS Sportsline.
Jim, the reason that play is so effective is because Cook is going to have to come out. Moyer then gets himself a situation where he can be wide open and use his quickness inside. So set a screen on Coverdale and get a little pick and roll action going for Indiana.
Luther headed has come in for Illinois, but not for Brown. And he knocks it out. Goes head.
I think that was just momentarily there for Brown, that stinging on that elbow. Seems to be all right now.
Coverdale doubled up.
Leach is not going to look to take that jump shot. Let's see if Coverdale recognizes what he had with Moyer and goes back to that high screen.
Kick by Williams. It'll give him a new 35.
That's probably not a good idea right there because they were doing a good job defensively. Had it down to 14 seconds.
Illinois ranked 13th in the country. And Kentucky has now opened it up on Auburn, 19. So Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Seems like people are just trying to stay within 20 points of Kentucky. There again, remember who you're passing it to. Leach is not going to catch that ball in traffic.
Duke up 13 on North Carolina in the first half.
Well, maybe they're remembering what happened last Sunday, Jim.
We were there for that thriller. Turn around by Cook. He now has 10.
Not much Moyer can do with that. Cook just has so much size on him. Again, what Moyer's got to do is come out and set screens. Take Cook away from the basket.
And a timeout called by Indiana, even though the next whistle would have been the under 4 timeout. Mike Davis didn't like what he was seeing there. He wants to talk it over. We'll be right back. This year, Jeffries had won it a year ago. Frank Williams of the Illini 2 years back.
And Brian Cook, as a freshman, was the co-winner of the Freshman of the Year award with a guy who had an outstanding career. A great night last night, Lavelle Blanchard. Really finished up in a class fashion as a player at Michigan under very dire circumstances as a senior.
Very classy young man.
He's a classy kid.
Oh, what a wonderful
Absolutely.
kid. Brian Cook, in his freshman year, also made the All-Big Ten tournament team, in the conference tournament, that is. And that misfire on the inside by the newly inserted Mike Roberts. So there's the timeout. Indiana with another scoring drought, now some 3 minutes long. Illinois with that lead and with 8 assists on on their 10 field goals.
That's something that they do better than anybody in the country. Actually, they're second in that regard, but terrific job in that area because a lot of guys on that team, Jim, can catch balls in traffic.
Let's talk about some of the surprises, both good and bad, this season in college basketball. What do you see?
Well, I think one of the negatives would have to be Alabama, a team that got to be #1 in the country and will not make this year's NCAA tournament. Maybe UCLA would be obviously a negative,
sure,
what we expected out of that team. I think my alma mater, Wake Forest, being picked 6th preseason and winning the ACC title would have to be a very good one.
1 second here, Billy, on the shot clock for Indiana as they inbound. Strickland, Coverdale knows it, launches it, and the shot clock violation. Yes, Wake Forest, folks, outright champions of the ACC in the regular season, even though they went down today to NC State in the semis of their ACC tournament. First time since Billy's senior year, 1962 at Wake. When you and another guy on that team in the backcourt there, and actually had a little size, more size than I'm giving him credit for.
Yeah, Len Chappell was the All-American first-teamer that year, along with guys like Jerry Lucas, who played on the Ohio State team that we saw win big today.
Coming up, singular at the half. And Greg and Clark are in New York, in the studio, all set now to get you caught up on today's scores and highlights and the latest tournament news. It's all coming up on Singular at the half.
You know, it was interesting, Jim. There was another Big Ten player in that particular year. I'm really going back now, 1962, that led the league in scoring all 3 years by the name of Terry Dishinger. It was first-team All-American from the Big Ten that year. But the player of the year, obviously, Jerry Lucas, one of the best ever to play.
Illinois on a little 6-0 run here.
Dangerous pass by Coverdale. Williams almost picked off his former teammate.
Right. Ooh, he had Williams right in his face, his old high school mate.
Well, that was pretty good defense by Williams.
I thought it was. Thought he got just a little piece of the ball there. I didn't see any contact.
Well, what I thought is that he had his hand straight up. If the contact was created, it was created by the shooting motion of Gracie Wright. Wright's laughing. Can you imagine what it must be like for two guys playing on the same team in high school and facing each other 1 year later at this level of competition?
And not only just to be high school teammates, but very close pals. They both went home during the Christmas holidays.
Now look at this, Jim. See, I think that is good defense. His hand went straight up. If any contact that was made, it was made by the shooter. You have the right to that space above your head, whether you're the defender or the offensive player. Mike Davis almost was able to pick that off, one of the great defenders ever to play at Alabama, out there on the sideline. I'm surprised his instinct didn't require him to put a hand out there and catch it. He does more talking to whoever sits right there in that press row. Then nice pass.
Unable to finish it, Luther Head. Hold on. That was in the cylinder, they say. Count the basket.
I don't know about that one. I'd have to see that on a replay.
You want it, you got it.
Okay, let's take a look.
Well, the hand went up and influenced the net.
No, but that ball, that's an incorrect call. You can slap the net unless that ball is down inside the cylinder, and it was not.
Sean Klein has come in for Indiana, first time, number 23. And that will send Mike Roberts to the line for the Hoosiers.
Okay, that ball was not going down into the basket. You can slap the net. See, that ball was behind on the portion back behind the rim there. I'm going to get called on that one, but I'm going out on the limb, Jim. I don't think that was basket interference.
You could see that was going to slide off the back of the rim.
That ball was going out.
1 of 2 by Roberts, chased down by D. Brown. With 2 minutes to go in the half, and Illinois leading 28-21.
Two teams, very solid. Both will be tough outs in this year's NCAA tournament. I think You got to remember, Indiana has played this almost its entire last portion of the first half without Newton. He picked up 2 fouls early.
Well, Harrington thought he drilled the 3, but a foul called against Indiana. Called on Roberts, his second. The tip-off to March Madness starts Thursday right here on CBS. And this year you can watch all the games on the internet. For more information on how you can watch March Madness from your computer, go to ncaasports.com.
Jim, you say Harrington thought that was down. I mean, he's shooting 44% from 3. He's made 57 threes, 68 total shots this year, so you know what he's going to do when he gets that ball in his hand. Gracie gets scraped in the eye a little bit.
Getting treated right in the corner of the court, so they're holding up Cook's free throw attempts.
Oh, he got hit elbow, a shoulder kind of right into the eye. Coming out, going to the locker room. That was a shoulder into the eye, not just a scrape of the arm. 1-1. Cook, a great free throw shooter for a big man. Led the league in free throw shooting last year.
And Tracy Wright still staggered by that shot to the face. Cook not only a good free throw shooter, good shooter from anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
9-point lead now for the Illini, largest of the game.
Mike Davis wanting to get in at halftime without his valuable weapon, Newton, available here down the stretch.
The Hoosiers have not hit a basket in over 6 minutes.
Well, you've got Wright and Newton off, so you got your 2 leading scorers not available. Good steal.
Missed their head. Strickland coming in, but Head makes it a double-digit lead of 11.
Mike Davis trying to slow things down, but where would the scoring come from when you look out on the floor, Jim? Hornsby is a guy that needs a lot of space to get a shot off.
Another steal. D. Brown with the quickness. Wisely pulls back.
Give Cook an opportunity. Smith doesn't play.
And a tie-up. The arrow belongs to Illinois. They call it a jump ball. Thus the arrow gives it back to the Fighting Illini.
Boy, that was a gutty play by Head. Right down on that floor. Right now, I think it's really a key. You got a chance to widen this margin. Make sure Cook touches the ball at least once on this occasion. Oh, no. That's not the play, but it's a foul.
On Strickland. Head again hits the floor.
He's making a lot of contact under that basket, isn't he?
Keeps taking all these spills and bounces right back up on his feet.
You know, I think in the college game, one of the things that players do not understand, that when you have a talent like Cook, you've got yourself in a situation, 45 seconds to go, that you're going to get that key possession. You get Cook the ball. Let him touch it.
Now Cook's going out.
Stay out of foul trouble.
Any kind of silly foul here before the half with 45 seconds left. Head shooting the first free throws outside of Cook for the Illini, and he hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Moye comes back in for Klein.
Looking maybe for an offensive garbage rebound. Moye to finish off the half.
2 for 2. And a 14-2 run by Illinois to open this up.
An excellent run in a game that had been pretty nip and tuck.
Got a 10-second differential here.
Just no place where you can see where Indiana has scoring on the floor right now.
Strickland looking to the bench, almost had it stripped away.
He's got a cut hand right now. You can see some blood.
Mike Davis saying, look at the guy's face. He got hit in the face. Look at his face here. You're not going to call a foul?
So now you have the 2 freshman guards for Indiana, both out of the game with injuries to the head. Gracie Wright to the eye, and a lot of blood coming down on Strickland's head.
Donald Perry comes to the scorer's table to check in.
Now, Jim, we've got a 10-second differential on the clock. Indiana's ball at half court. Take a look right here where that contact took place. Oh, there it is. Just a clash of the heads. Kind of like in a boxing match.
Might have gotten it there, too.
Yeah. I think it was a clash of the heads, boy. And
there's blood on the floor, a lot of blood on the floor.
Yep. He's going to have to go to the locker room. Mike Davis realizing that he doesn't have a lot of scoring weapons to finish this 11 seconds off. He's got to find it somewhere, and there goes Strickland to the locker room.
Billy, you saw it tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time on CBS, the men's basketball tournament selection show, the exclusive live look, first look, that is, at the brackets, the pairings for the 2003 tournament, right here on CBS tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Jim, we did hear trying to eavesdrop a little bit into our halftime show, and heard Jim Lovington said that it looks like it's going to be a long night, and a lot of that created by what's taking place in these postseason conference tournaments.
Well, Ohio State, is what we were talking about, made their life a whole lot more difficult, too, because they have to set up an either-or situation.
How about the Southern Cal situation?
At least they get to
be played late.
They can put that to bed, though. They can wake up tomorrow and know where they want to go with it, but they've got Ohio State playing late in the day tomorrow, and that will put, Ohio State, that's the last game to be decided. So Ohio State will be playing to get into the tournament. Will have to win to get in. There's one other unknown team right now that, well, it'll certainly impact.
Good block by Smith. Got so much size, hard for a small man to get it off.
And a shot clock violation. 8 seconds left on the game clock.
Plenty of time, particularly with a guy like Brown that can push the ball up court so quickly to not only get it up court, but get a good shot off. Cook's going to come back into the game.
And while we have a short break here, our Applebee's hometown favorites, the 1987 National Championship game in New Orleans. What a shot it was. Keith Smart with the winner for Indiana to beat Syracuse.
Ronnie Cycli under the basket, hoping that thing would not drop.
Indiana wins it by 1. You made an interesting point about the inbound pass right there, picked off by Keith Smart.
Yeah, we don't see it on the screen there, but I think it was Derek Coleman throwing the inbounds pass and throwing it right-handed. He's a lefty.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. Keith Smart not only hit that shot, Jim, but I think that he was responsible for like the last 15 points that Indiana scored in that game.
Let's see what can happen here in the final 5 seconds.
Indiana goes zone to try to change the defense.
Bangs it home with a 3 to end the half.
Because of Brown's ability to push it up quickly, Head had a terrific run to put this margin in place.
A 17-2 stretch over the final 5 minutes.
This Illinois team is on quite a roll, Jim. They have just been blowing people out of late. Head squares up. Indiana went into a zone to try to change things up a little bit, but because Brown can push it so well, he finds him wide open, and that was over Moye, who normally does a pretty good job stopping a shot like that.
That's Indiana's lowest scoring half of the year and their largest halftime deficit, down 16. Let's send you back to New York to Greg and Clark.
All right, Jim, thank you. Coming up on Singular at the Half, Clark and I will have the latest on the conference tournaments, where the upsets continue, plus an update from CBS News on the situation in Iraq. That's coming your way next, after this message and a word from your local station.
Final Four, and by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Anything strange looking to you, Billy, today at the Chicago River?
Well, yeah, either we're completely out of focus color-wise or the Irish have taken over.
They diet every year for the celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Parade here today in the Windy City. Halftime stats of this game led by Illinois 37-21.
CBS Sports
Field goal percentages, Indiana held at 30%.
And Illinois picking up right where they left off down at Champaign, shooting at 52% assist. Illinois, just great assist turnover ratio as a team.
Look at this assist right here. D. Brown to Brian Cook.
Cook, a very quiet 14 points, 6 for 7 from the foul line. Moye, too small to handle him inside. Real key in this ball game. Cook with 14, Leach with 7, but the fact that Jeff Newton only played 8 minutes and had 2 points.
Here's the Microsoft agile move. Is that inbounds pass to Cook?
Well, you talk about an agile move and an agile player. 6'10", just soft hands. Beautiful move.
I'd have to say that was agile.
Absolutely.
All right, Indiana has the first possession of the second half. Bracy Wright sits to begin the second half. He took a shot to the head in the first half.
He's got an ice pack over there. George Leach said he'll be back here playing, but he doesn't look too good sitting over there right now. Newton back out on the floor. As I said, only played 8 minutes in that first half. 2 points. That compares to the 28 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks he had in that win over Illinois earlier this year. He's got to really pick it up.
They set him down for the back half of the first stanza with 2 fouls.
Moyer now playing out of the guard position. Bad pass.
Augustine stole it. Powell looking for help.
Good no call. Cook soft touch. Oh, he loves that shot. Even though Newton got a hand up there, Cook normally will bury that one.
You're always surprised to see him miss from that range.
Well, Indiana wanting to go inside, get Newton started, and there's again. Does Leach have the hands? He does.
Well, he picked up the loose ball. It had been stripped out of the hands of Newton first, and Leach with 9 leads the Hoosiers.
He has 3 for 3 from the floor today. Illegal screen.
You know, that basket by Leach breaks an Indiana field goal drought of 8 minutes, 15 seconds going back to the first half. We saw one in the first game today. Michigan State went 11.5 minutes without scoring. Came back after being 19 down to take the lead, only to see Ohio State win with the free throw with 6 seconds to go.
That's the first time today that Newton has been able to post up on Cook and get Cook over his back because he beat him to the spot.
Second on Cook.
The feed was not great because it was thrown on the wrong side, but Newton had such good position.
Coverdale gets a reaction every time he touches the ball here from the Illinois fans.
They might not like him, but he's had a pretty good career at Indiana.
Kicked around, picked up by Newton, and in traffic he is hacked.
Oh, what a difference when they have those two on the floor right here for Indiana. Tough matchup.
That is the third, Billy, on Cook. Strength of schedule this season. Georgia, according to the computer, played the toughest schedule. Arkansas right behind. Texas, Oklahoma. That Kansas loss, Billy, what do you think that does as far as the 1 seed? Does it take one away from Kansas?
Well, you know, every time it's always Kansas, Texas, Kansas, Texas. How about Oklahoma?
Yeah, people forget about them.
They've got to be in there, the number 1 seed. Of course, we saw them just blow Kansas out up in Norman. But I have to feel that Oklahoma now is in the position to have the first of those 2 that may go to that conference, because they will be in the championship game, it looks like.
So how do you split it between Kansas and Texas if there's one other number 1 between them?
Well, I think that Kansas finished ahead of them in regular season, and they went further in their tournament. I think you'd have to go with Kansas. And that great game, Kansas-Texas, that was played in Lawrence this year, Kansas came away a winner there.
7 on the shot clock. Brown fires. Long rebound to Hornsby. Up ahead to Coverdale.
He's going to make
behind the back. And that's goaltending. Count the basket.
Now, there's Coverdale, who loves the challenge, particularly against a smaller man. Brown had an advantage in speed. Coverdale knows that he was going to pick up the foul if he didn't go ahead and get the shot off uncontested. And there is the block on the way down.
Bill Self senses the momentum change, a 6-point Indiana run. And he calls timeout. First 6 points of the second half to Indiana. Jim Nance, Billy Packer from the Big Ten tournament, presented by Intel here in Chicago.
Now, Jim, both of these teams have made it to finals before in the Big Ten tournament, but they haven't come away with a championship. Nice lob.
Augustine unable to take advantage of the lob from Brown.
And picks up the cheap foul after it. Moyer was outsized. Augustine should have put that one away.
Third foul on Augustine. They got 3 on Cook and 3 on Augustine now.
Ed coming back into the ball game, who really led that explosion at the end of the first half for Illinois. You're supposed to finish this one. Good pass, right where you want to place it. Augustine doesn't put it away and then picks up the cheap foul.
Indiana came from behind last night. Didn't lead until the final 6 minutes. Down 9 in the second half against Michigan, only to prevail. Newton.
Leach, another good rebound, and can't hang on.
Jump ball, arrow, Illinois.
There were those hands in traffic again that gets Leach in trouble.
Ohio State with 6 consecutive tournaments in the Big Ten Conference. 6 consecutive wins, that is, in the Big Ten Conference tournament. Winning it last year with 3 wins. They'd have to go 4 wins this year to claim it.
Well, the lowest seed that ever got to a final was Illinois back in 1999 when they won 3 games to play a very tough Michigan State team and lose in the final.
They were as low as you can get.
Yep.
They were the last place team in the regular season, and they had Krapalier, remember all those guys, and Lucas Johnson and Corey Bradford, a band of freshmen.
And that's amazing.
They stayed in that final about halftime, and then
lost by 17, but they did stay there. They just ran out of gas. Corey Bradford did make the all-conference tournament team, had a sensational tournament from 3-point range.
You wonder how Ohio State will be able to deal with that fatigue issue tomorrow, having 3 games, 3 days, and Darby today went 38 of 40. He's gone 118 out of 120 possible minutes here the last 3 days.
Bradford had 17 threes in those 4 games that he played in that Big Ten tournament. Still a record for a tournament. Leach, Smith doing a good job knowing Leach isn't going to make a play from out there. Newton would like to post up against the smaller player. Everybody else should wait till he posts up.
Texas Tech has cut it to 8 against Oklahoma, and there's Coverdale with a nice drive.
He used Williams on that one. Coverdale coming to life a little bit. He's been just sitting back and looking for his outside jump shot, now starting to penetrate. I think that fast break drive, Jim, got him woken up a little bit here.
So hook shot, setting it up over Leach, blocked. And on the follow-up, foul called on Moye.
There's Leach. There's Leach, the top shot blocker in the Big Ten, doing a nice job keeping his hands straight up. You know, I don't know why Smith didn't come back with a little hook there. He's got that half hook. He was in the perfect position to use it. Played into Leach's hands.
Needs to develop that move that one of our announcers from tonight used to master. Kareem, who will be at the Pac-10 championship game on CBS.
No, that would have been lights out. Kareem had the ball there. Forget about it.
Here's the turnaround.
Oh, there it is. He shut me up. Said, forget the half hook. I've got the jump shot.
We'll have the Pac-10 title game tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern here on CBS. USC and Oregon.
Smith is the tallest player that's ever played at Illinois, and he'd have to look up at Kareem in a number of ways, height and talent. Left-hander.
Too strong, but Leach retrieves and follows it up.
Again, scouting report. We talked about this in the first half. He is only going to his left. It's kind of an important time right now, Jim. It's been around a 10-point mark for a while. Can Indiana make a run?
He dragged the feet. It'll be Indiana ball when we come back. Down 10. The lead at halftime for Illinois was 16. It's now at 10. Jim Nance, Billy Packer here courtside. What about Indiana here in the second half?
Jim, 15-minute mark. I think this game is rather pivotal because Cook has got foul trouble. Augustine has foul trouble. And Newton, who had foul trouble in the first half, is on the floor for Indiana. So I think Indiana really in a position now to make a little bit of a run here. Newton's got it. Wasn't patient enough to hang on to it.
Moye lost control of it, taken away by Powell. Smith, he thought about launching it. Tried one in the first half. From there. Head. Wrap-around pass, out of bounds, Indiana ball.
Now, how long do you go without Cook? I'd say you're in double digits, but if this thing gets down below 8 points, I think Bill Self is going to have to bring Cook back because they really are out of sync offensively with Smith as the primary target inside. Coverdale needs to stay aggressive.
Hornsby, not this time. Smith clears.
That was a great block out by Powell on Newton.
Oh, Williams almost. Sunday on 60 Minutes, they could be your neighbors. 1 out of 3 soldiers in the Gulf are weekend warriors. That story tomorrow on 60 Minutes. So Darren Williams, 2 shots at the line. Freshman who started 27 of 29 games. And here he is, Bracy Wright, with his first second-half action. Some question as to whether he would return.
Had that ice pack on his head. Right now you have Indiana at full strength on the floor with their offensive team. If Wright can come back here, this is the time to make that move.
Indiana not getting that bench production it so desperately needed last night. Moye has not scored in this game, only 1 point off the bench. That coming from Mike Roberts in the first half. Coverdale likes that move. That's Leach loves that.
At that last timeout, Mike Davis, who has had Leach in his doghouse a time or two, patted him on the top of the head, really applauding him for the effort he's given today, and he is having a fine game.
Got 13 points. Cut it to single digits at 42-33.
I'd say one more basket by Indiana if Illinois does not score, and you're going to see Cook back in this game.
Smith over Leach. Brown wide open. 3 down and out.
Another offensive rebound.
Head comes into the lane. Too strong.
Another offensive rebound.
But on the line.
No, I think it's going to be Hornsby with a foul, maybe.
Okay, it is indeed against Indiana.
Offensive rebounding really picking up now for Illinois. They have 3.2 rebounds per game advantage over their opponents. Indiana basically is in a minus situation.
There's the first foul on Hornsby. Illinois has made only 1 of 8 this half. Powell.
Another offensive rebound. Is that one over the back by Head? Yep. Against Bracy. Head trying to go over the top of Bracy Wright, who's a pretty good leaper. See, Bill Self is trying as long as he can to keep Cook on this bench. He's going to come back with Augustine, figure he can sacrifice him rather than getting Cook in more foul trouble.
And Sean Harrington as well comes in for Illinois, replacing Williams.
Low-scoring ball game for Indiana. And they have all their weapons on the floor right now. Let's see if they can get something started.
Leach trying to work it into Newton. Kick and a reset on the 35. Low scoring for Indiana. Is that all because of Illinois? Or do you feel Indiana's a little off its game?
I think they were off their game primarily because Newton had to sit so long in the first half, Jim. They really count on him.
Working it back into Leach. And Smith on the arm.
Leach is having one of the best games I've seen as far as his effort. Here he is. You'll see it today. Dish inside, gets a handle, brings it back for a score. Hustling down the floor. There's that left hand, but then he fouls for another left hand. And now he makes a free throw. This is about the best I've seen him play, Jim. He's had, obviously, some outstanding games this year, some sensational games in terms of big production.
Got 1 out of 2 there. It's an 8-point game under 13 to play. Texas Tech is within 3 of Oklahoma.
There's the hook. Leach with another rebound. His biggest performance this year, 19 points, 16 rebounds against Massachusetts. But that's not the same competition he's facing out here today. And not as much on the line either. And Cook is coming in this game. Bill Self has seen enough. Gracie Wright, big shot here.
Bangs it home for a 3. Down to 5.
Bill Self had to make the move. He liked to kept Cook out for a little bit longer, but he has got to make the move.
What a move by Indiana in this half. From 16 down to 5. Indiana had 2 players go down with head injuries in the first half. Gracie Wright, who has returned, and Marshall Strickland, who has not returned. And now we just received word that in the Indiana locker room, remember all the blood on the court? Strickland had a piece of, well, a Luther head tooth embedded in his forehead.
Wow.
Luther head chipped a tooth in that collision with Strickland, who has not returned. And there's a nice move by Cook.
Well, that turned things around. But he looks like he's all right sitting on that bench now, Jim, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in there. Well, how long did it take Cook? 3 seconds?
16 for Cook.
Indiana came from 5 down at halftime in their ball game against Michigan, but this is a much tougher opponent. Pick and roll. Newton goes to reach, and there's that difficulty catching the ball in traffic.
All right, a timeout on the floor. 11:28 to go in the half. There's Strickland. Will he return? We'll be right back.
By Sprite, obey your thirst.
Jim, Augustine and Cook both in the ball game right now, so Bill Self realizing he has got to regain momentum for his team. Can't worry about the foul trouble he has on his 2 big men. Strickland, you have a feeling, Jim, he'll be back into this ball game.
Looking a bit dazed, though. That collision near midcourt at the end of the first half. Augustine and Cook back in there with 3 fouls each.
Gracie Wright looking to go high-low. Augustine being played by a much smaller man. They're trying to get it to him.
5 on the shot clock. Cook, baseliner, yes.
Now there's a situation when Newton should have held his ground. He went over to double-team Williams, who's looking to pass rather than shoot. He just created an easy opening.
Newton driving on Cook, and he stepped on the baseline.
Boy, he tried to draw the foul there. He had either one, Augustine and Cook, in a position to pick up a reach foul.
Smart idea.
That was a very smart idea. Brown has been very quiet today. Needs to pick it up. Here he comes. Hadn't been looking for his shot.
Harrington hasn't made one today from out there. 0 for 3, and that last touch by Augustine. Indiana ball.
Harrington and Hornsby are very much alike in the fact that they really need space to get that jump shot off. And very seldom do they look for the jump shot, pump fake it, and then take it inside on the drive. And the defender really comes out and challenges them. Here they are guarding each other.
Newton spinning on Cook. Comes up short on the jumper. Newton is 1 for 5 from the field in this game.
Well, good pump fake.
Cook rejected by Leach. No call.
Well, you get by at 1-6-10 and you run into a 6-11. There's the space for Hornsby.
That's his shot.
Absolutely. You see the difference, Jim, when they've got space to get that shot off. They square up. They both have excellent technique. Talking about Hornsby and Harrington.
46-40 Illinois. Illinois working it around. Harrington, top of the key. Yes.
Yeah, Hornsby got caught going underneath the screen and gave Harrington some space. Brown's quickness against Coverdale's toughness. He turned it over.
He did. He carried it. He called for it.
Yep, he turned it over.
15 Indiana turnovers. Near the conclusion of this game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's General Scholarship Fund tradition for 30 years.
Coverdale in the first 2 games, he's just a 5 for 16 in this tournament. Not getting off very well. Frustrated with himself a little bit there.
Williams hit over the back. Kentucky takes out Auburn by 20. It's a final. Kentucky and Mississippi State tomorrow on CBS, the SEC final. NC State looks like it's going to be Duke. It's been a comfortable margin there for the Blue Devils, now 19.
State split with Duke earlier this year, beat them at their place, and lost in Durham.
Well, they halt play here for a moment.
Officials talking with each other. Didn't see the call away from the ball.
It may have been the 7th foul down at the other end. A 7th Illinois foul. The one committed by Darren Williams, which would put it at 1-1.
So he gets another shot.
Yeah, they burned off a few seconds on the clock,
but they have the right to correct this. Look at Harrington out there trying to eavesdrop. And you're going to call the 2 coaches in to explain here. Inadvertently didn't give another opportunity to shoot.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 for Indiana. There's no question about the foul after Williams tried to follow up his own miss. Over the back, it was the 7th Illinois foul.
Here you see Williams coming over the back trying to get his own miss.
And they looked at the monitor. They looked at that last replay trying to establish the shooter. That's what I would guess.
Was it Gracie Wright? Yes, it was Gracie Wright. Look, Gracie Wright's going in here for the rebound, and it's Williams going over his former teammate.
Should put Gracie Wright on the line. Monday, the Late Show's all new with Everybody Loves Raymond's Brad Garrett, plus actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Music by Lyle Lovett. You gotta love it. Monday, all new Late Show. This shouldn't take this long to iron it out, but you know, you're looking at Duke and big performance today trying to avenge that loss to North Carolina last week. If Duke goes on to win the ACC tournament, can they move to that 2 line tomorrow?
I think very possible. Very possible.
They also had to go back when they were looking at that monitor, Billy, to try to reestablish the time that was lost.
There was the push-off, but Williams got by with that foul, but didn't get by with this one, and he went over the back.
And they've reset the clock to 8:24, 1-1 for Gracie Wright.
You know, Jim, you get a feeling in this game, although I really feel that Illinois has a lot more power to withstand a drive by Indiana than in the first game. I never would have believed Ohio State, once Michigan State took the lead, was ever in a position to get back in control of that game. But in this game right here, this has been a momentum shift as Newton and Leach have been able to stay out on the court most of this second half, bringing Indiana back.
2 for 2.
Leach getting a little well-deserved rest right now. Moye be the second big man in the game. And when is Brown going to start taking over a little bit?
And when is Moye going to make his presence felt? He really hasn't anything close to what he was last night. Over the top, Cook. Forget about it, +1.
Boy, when he touches it in close like that, he's got such good hands. He's got a nice arsenal of shots, right or left hand. There's that high-low that Illinois uses so well. There's the good hands in traffic. No question about the put away, and now you put a 80% plus free throw shooter on the line.
And you add a 3rd foul now on Newton. 3 on Newton, 3 on Cook, 3 on Augustine.
Well, it took him only about 3 minutes, or a little longer than that in the first half to pick up 2 fouls, so he's gone a long way here in the second half, just getting that third one.
Hornsby.
Nope, not the space again. He never looks to pump fake and go by. He had a Harrington right in the position that he could have done that, even maybe to get him up in the air and go under him for a foul situation.
Luther Head with a 3. Oh, another big one.
Isn't it amazing certain guys come off the bench? You mentioned Moyer last night was the difference for Indiana. Head has been the difference today off that bench for Illinois.
Head with the big 3 right at the buzzer to end the first half. And timeout called by Indiana.
That stymied the comeback.
Boy, suddenly up to 13 for the Fighting Illini. Oregon and USC here on CBS with Dick Enberg, Matt Gukas, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from out in Los Angeles.
Jim Luther Head has been outstanding today. He was no factor in either of the first 2 games they played. As a matter of fact, he was 1 for 6 in the game in Bloomington. But he is coming up big here.
See right. And a collision with both Cook and Augustine.
He doesn't need any more collisions with that Head a little shaky in the first half.
Call that on Augustine, his 4th. Indiana last year, Billy, going all the way to the final as a number 5 seed. What would you forecast for Indiana as far as a seeding this year?
Probably a little bit further down than that.
6 or 7?
Yep.
Say this about Mike Davis: when it comes to tournament time, he knows how to get his team ramped up. His first year, he had his team in the Big Ten final against Iowa.
Yep.
And last year had him in the NCAA championship final.
Right, that 2 31-point games this year. MVP of the Maui tournament. Last freshman to do that, Joseph Forte of University of North Carolina fame. And that's maybe where it ended for that young man. Smith, a nice high-low, and doesn't finish.
T. Brown gets it back, though. Back to the rim also. Long board to Moyer.
Brown, very quiet game for a second-team All-Big Tenner.
He's 0 for 5 from the field. Dumping it in. Newton. Yes, down to 10.
Little push off on Smith. And just when you think that Illinois can put them away, Indiana comes back again. But they're running out of time here a little bit, Jim.
Newton's first field goal since 12:41 remained in the first half. It's been a long time, and a hold away from the ball.
That's going to be Moyer just grabbed the shirt trying to fight through that screen by Smith.
His 3rd. And there's a timeout on the floor with Illinois leading Indiana by 10. 76. The Big Ten teams playing for the national championship in Philadelphia. Quinn Buckner had 16 and 8 rebounds. Bob Knight, the coach of that undefeated Indiana team. The Hoosiers, the champions, the last undefeated team in college basketball. Defeating Michigan 86-68.
You know, Jim, that was the first time ever that 2 teams from the same conference played for the national championship. They had played 3 times that year. Michigan almost beat them in Bloomington in an overtime game. Controversial Kent Benson putback.
Michigan led that year by Ricky Green. And off the mark there, it's
Coverdale almost tapped it in.
There's 6 minutes to go. This is where the Hoosiers started last night, right at this point, but not on that trip.
Well, that was a pretty good idea by Bracy Wright, and you can't fault Moyer because he figured Bracy is going to put that one up. He was headed for a rebound. Just a little miscommunication there. You could understand the thinking of both players.
Block foul called on Indiana.
Moyer couldn't get there in time because of that great quickness by Brown.
For Moyer, that is his 4th. It'll be a 1-and-1 for the Illini.
You know, Jim, thinking of that Pac-10 tournament coming up, the first 3-time All-American in the Big Ten, John Wooden, goes out to the West Coast at UCLA, and there was a Big Ten team named Purdue that showed up. that Kareem Jabbar will know all about, because he was part of dismantling Rick Mountain Company, winning one of their 3 NCAA championships with Kareem and 3 times the MOP of the game.
He said at a meeting this week in New York that Kareem, he felt, was the greatest college basketball player of all time.
No question about it. Nobody can ever duplicate what he did. He led 3 teams to 3 national championships and the most valuable player in all 3. How can you get any better than that?
Coverdale, 3-point shot. Yes! About one they had to have. 5:25 left. 9-point lead for Illinois. Brown didn't know what to do with it. Cook, though, in position.
No foul. Oh, yes, it is finally called on Newton.
For Newton, that's 4. Oregon and Southern Cal, USC, next, here on CBS.
Jim, I'll go further. Back to the Kareem statement. He was the greatest high school player that's ever played. Lost 1 game in his entire high school career. That to DeMatha. The greatest college player that ever played. And I think you could say, considering winning, his statistics and everything else, probably the greatest pro player that ever played. So on all 3 levels, how could you say anybody was a better basketball player than Kareem Jabbar in the sport of basketball?
Hard to dispute. You see Wright got head to commit, and they say it was in the act of shooting. We're going to check the CBS Sports Line stat of the game. Bench points, and quite a difference here. 19-4, get complete game stats. CBSSportsLine.com or on America Online, keyword CBS Sports Line. This will be a 3-shot situation.
Jim, bench points in favor of Illinois. Remember last year in the great run that Indiana had to the Final Four in the championship game, their bench just dominated people in regard to statistics.
One last thing about Kareem. This is another thing you mentioned earlier in the week at our seminar gathering in the city. Can you imagine today, given the media today, with all the attention that's gone to LeBron James this season, games televised and all, can you imagine what it would be like today if Kareem coming out of Power Memorial in New York City?
No,
what that would have been like?
You'd have been talking about his games on TV when he was in the 9th grade.
$59-50. Will they make a run at him? Head, though, uncontested.
There is the bench point and points of the game. Luther Head. It's been tremendous.
Moye on the board.
Looked like Brett Darby going through there, didn't it?
It was a very similar move from what we saw earlier today.
Well, and I hope he's getting some rest. To be 4 days in a row, he'll have to put it on the line against a very deep team.
Harrington, front of the rim. Newton has it.
And here's an Indiana team that wants to show there was a reason why they were in the Final Four last year. Guys like Coverdale showing a lot of leadership here, and Moye as well.
D. Brown whistled for that one, his second, and Coverdale to the line. We're in the double bonus now.
Coverdale was selected preseason to be all Big Ten, but doesn't show up on either first, second, or third team once the season's over here, regular season. It's interesting how those things work out sometimes.
You got Chris Duhon over in the ACC, was the preseason player of the year.
Yeah.
No sign of that by season's end. Okay, Indiana. Talk about hanging in there in the first game. Similar case here. We'll be right back. 61-54, just under 4 to play, and Indiana hangs in there, Billy.
They are hanging in there, and I think that Bill Self, as we talked about before, worried about foul trouble with Cook. He finally put him back in the game as Indiana made their charge, and both Cook and Newton have been able to stay out on this floor right now. So the major ingredients are on the floor. I think the key for Indiana is Coverdale staying aggressive with the ball on the offensive end of the floor and trying to get Bracy Wright some jump shots. And Brown, who has really not done much of anything here today, been very passive offensively, hasn't had the ball in his hands a lot, and Coverdale has really shut him down.
He's had 7 assists, but 0 for 6 from the field. Lob inside, and ran all the way.
Bracy Wright telegraphed it, and Bracy Wright was right there. He's got a great vertical leap.
Uh-oh, that would have made it interesting. Moyer keeps it alive, and Coverdale, you're going to call a foul here on D. Brown?
Yep, Coverdale's toughness hung in there.
Tonight on CBS, an all-new night of drama, beginning with Touched by an Angel, followed by Craig T. Nelson in The District. Then go inside the secret world of the CIA, the agency, all here tonight on CBS America's most watched network. So 2 shots coming up for Coverdale.
81% free throw shooter. Long. He'd like to have that one back. You could see that was a strong shot. You know, sometimes they're just a little bit too pumped up.
Got the second one, though. 6-point game, 3.5 to play. We're down 16 at halftime, brought it to within 5. Then the lead 12 to 13 is back to 6.
Brown not looking at the basket at all today.
Over the top. Augustine, yes, had the big size advantage inside.
And there again, we showed that high-low play earlier today. And when you have Cook who can step out and shoot the jumper, you've got to protect it. So it leaves Augustine all alone with Moyer, who's too small for it.
Moyer challenging Cook. That's as far as he can go. And threw it right into the arms of Brown.
Will he challenge Coverdale? No!
With his back to the basket.
He has such explosive quickness that you knew he was going to challenge Coverdale, and you knew that Coverdale would not back down. This is a sensational play here. Right over the top of the head in a spinning move. Coverdale is very good, Jim, at coming across, trying to block those. Big play. Moyer got caught with the ball down inside against a bigger guy and had to make the bad pass.
Timeout, Indiana, 66-55, Illinois.
Mike Davis is ripping him over there, but nobody came to get the ball out of his hands.
D. Brown. 13-1 close last night to beat UCLA. Bruins looked like they had the game under control.
Jim, you talked about disappointments this year. You know, Oregon was picked by a lot of people. Remember at the beginning of this season to be at least a top 5 team. Disappeared right out of the ratings.
Final 8 team of a year ago.
Yep.
Luke Ridnour hitting the winning shot last night. Hornsby.
Afterwards, that's going to be called on Cook.
And for Cook, number 4.
Nice backdoor cut. Good setup on that out-of-bounds sideline play for Indiana.
Pac-10 game is underway.
And this is what is amazing about Hornsby, where I said that, you know, here's a senior. It's an excellent shooter, but his game doesn't have a second option to it. He has only gone to the foul line 15 times this year. Now, if you're that good an outside shooter, you've got to create the pump fake move and the ability to get people up off the floor to get to the line more than 15 times.
Saw Oregon in front 10-4 earlier against early in the action against USC. But Hornsby such a key part of that magical run last year. Remember where they hit 15 out of 19 threes against Kent State, the team did. Hornsby's getting married this July the 4th to Whitney Butler, a former IU soccer player.
Well, he made all Final Four last year, and the NCAA was 13 to 27 for 3. So it's not like he can't shoot it. But if you're playing 20-plus minutes a game for a whole season, as much playing time as he had, and only go to the line 15 times, you have got to work on other aspects of your game other than just a pure jump shot. Nobody coming to help Smith. Kind of like what happened to Moye on the other end of the floor. Pretty tough to guard this man this far.
Oh,
what a smack.
Smith got popped in the face as Coverdale was trying to fight through a screen, and it sounded as though everyone in the arena saw it but the officials.
Well, I'll tell you what else saw it was Coverdale's elbow. He's holding his elbow right now.
Going back to the
technical? No, they're calling the block. Mike Davis at least wants a jump ball situation. Coverdale has the tape coming off his forearm.
It's Illinois ball with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Thinking Luther Head here on the screen.
Well, let's see. They're on the other side. Williams too strong. And nice rebound garnered by Newton.
Big basket right here.
A big basket needed if you're an Indiana fan.
That's what Coverdale likes. Coming off to his right. We talked about it earlier today. That's his favorite shot.
Cuts it to 6 with 2 minutes to play.
Go attack Smith with the ball. Newton gets there a little late.
15 for Coverdale, 13 in the second half. Timeout, Illinois. Those to Indiana. Double bonus situation with the next one committed by Indiana. It'll be on both sides. The Chevrolet MVPs, George Leach, Indiana, Brian Cook, Illinois. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements, to assist those as well in financial need.
I think in that timeout it would have been good to bring Leach back into the ball game to give more size defensively. They have Augustine being played by Moye. See if Illinois goes to that high-low that they like so well.
10 on the shot clock. Cook out high, looking for help. Head has been a Hoosier killer today, and outside with 4 on the shot clock. Basket does not count.
Foul before the shot went up.
He'll get 2 shots, double bonus.
Well, I don't know why Illinois in that occasion, Jim. You've got a big size differential between Augustine and Moye. Cook is the guy at the top of the key you've got to play. That would be the effective move to use against this Indiana defense right now. That's why I thought Leach would come back in the game just for defensive purposes.
Illinois 17 of 20 with that miss from the line, 85%.
Well, this can put it into that 3-possession situation here if he can make one of these.
Got the second one. Ties his season high with 15.
Also a good time to pick up people full court to make Indiana spend a lot of time getting the ball over the 10-second line.
Moye driving in. No whistle. But there's one this time. Someone was on Newton's back, and it's Augustine.
That's his 5th.
Number 5.
So that takes away, and probably Smith going to come back in his place on the offensive end of the floor.
Augustine out with 6 points.
This is a time in the game when a coach can always count on the clock being stopped. So it's a good time to start offense and defensive substitutions.
Didn't take Mike Davis long to call his team over, knowing they're going to get to milk this moment a little bit as Illinois weighs the substitution for Augustine.
And it's going to be Smith coming in for him. So you've got that high-low post offensive situation for Illinois. Now, if you're Indiana, you would think you come back in with Leach just for the defensive play to stop that high-low post advantage that Illinois has. And on any missed shot, and here you see the game that's already started, Oregon USC. Of course, Coach Bibby out there is a guy that's been to the Final Four as a player, or 2, or 3.
Came close as a coach a couple of years back in 01 when he had USC in the East Final.
Against Duke?
Yeah, against Duke. 2 shots, Newton.
See if there's a little press coming out of a made free throw here.
Indiana one defensive stop.
Here comes a full court man-to-man pressure by Indiana.
More play here for making this very interesting.
It's going to be head, bring it up against Hornsby. Brown runs away from the ball.
1 minute in the game. 1 minute.
Halfway down on the shot clock.
Talking about a two-possession game, I really think Indiana let a lot of time go by.
That'll send the one player that's well scouted there by Indiana, Darren Williams, to the line. The worst shooter on the floor for Illinois at the line. Their best free throw shooter, those on the floor, was Nick Smith, the 7'2" player, who was 36 of 42, 86%.
I realize he has a higher percentage than does Brian Cook, but if I had my druthers, if I'm Illinois, I'd rather have the experienced All-American on that line.
Williams is firing on the first. Powell comes in for Smith. Williams 1 for 3 today from the free throw line. It'll be no more than a two-possession game after this one, as Indiana keeps fighting back.
Racing right, almost in the lane. Is he in the lane too soon? Yep. He leaned and couldn't stop the lean.
He was trying to.
Yep, he sure was, but a technical call and the right call by the official. Gracie started to lean. And just gets in the lane a little. Watch him. He's leaning. There he is in the lane.
Well, all 3 attempts by Williams off the mark. 5-point game. 44 seconds. We see Wright in traffic, and he'll shoot 2.
Smart move by Wright. Just turned the corner and said, hey, somebody foul me. Boy, how important it is, Jim, if you've got your primary ball handler, he has got to be a good free throw shooter, or the balance in college basketball now, you're going to be in positions in close games. The guy you want to have the ball in your hands, the last guy you want fouled. That's what happened to Illinois there.
2 shots for Bracy Wright. This could put Indiana as close as it's been in the second half. Yes, now 4. Smith and Harrington.
There's Williams going out, see, because they want free throw shooters in the ball game. That means that Brown is probably going to be the primary ball handler now for Illinois.
Surprisingly, Harrington, not a great free throw shooter, 61% on the season.
Well, Brown is not a great free throw shooter either, but in both cases better than Williams.
Timeout, Indiana, and they have brought it within 3. Maybe another chapter in the Hoosier history coming up. 1 timeout for each side. Illinois ball leading by 3.
Well, Jim, if you're Indiana right now, you don't want to think about fouling at all. You've got a 6-second differential on the shot clock. Play solid defense. Don't reach. If you're Illinois, I think that what you want to do is go back to that high-low concept. Moyer is on either Cook or Smith. Now, there's no way that he is not going to foul Smith if he can get that high-low going and dump down inside. That's a good move by Hornsby.
And they foul the one player on the floor, 61%, who has struggled this season, 17 of 28.
Again, there you have it. Harrington with only 28 free throws all year. Hornsby with 15. 2 of the guys are the best pure shooters in the Big Ten. Because they don't get to the line, not good free throw shooters. And that one looks awful good.
His stroke is too good not to be a better than 61% shooter.
Yeah, you would think he's the kind of guy that would be up in the 90s, as a number of fellas are shooting over 90% this year in college basketball.
First one was so pure, I don't see any reason why this one won't be either. Well, front of the rim and in.
Down 5, you can go for a 2 or a 3, but you got to drive to the basket right away if you're Gracie Wright.
You're looking for a 3. No, inside Moyer. 22 seconds, 3-point game.
Okay, if you get Harrington the ball again or Brown, foul him. There it is. Good play by Hornsby.
And that'll send Brown to the line for 2. Brown, 67%.
Good foul by Indiana, not letting any time go off that clock to speak of.
For a starting point guard, it's kind of surprising D. Brown's only been to the line 57 times coming into this game in 28 games.
Well, a lot of times, Jim, looking at stats, you can tell a lot about a player and a lot about a team. And when you see, as an example, Brett Darby that we saw, 200 and some times to the foul line, you don't even have to see him play to know basically what he's going to do when he's got that ball in his hands. Unlike a Hornsby with the 15 or 16 times. I guarantee you Bressie Wright will stay on the line this time.
Only got one. 4-point game.
Still can go two. Don't have to get a three, and that's the best thing you can do is to get fouled and stop the clock. What is Williams thinking?
Boy, and Indiana's so quickly driving to the basket, and it's refreshing to see how this team is going ahead and taking the two instead of so many teams blow it so early by going for the three where they don't need to.
Well, when you have a two-possession game, you might as well, you two or the three, either one that works. But the one thing, if you're Illinois, you don't want to do is ever foul. Oh, huge. Here comes that offense-defense substitution to get Williams out of the game.
USC is on a little 15-point run in that game. It was down 14-4.
Wouldn't you think a good lob pass on an out-of-bounds play to Cook to let him catch the ball, Jim, so that they would have to foul Cook? Two misses in a row by Wright. Could be ball game.
Oh, you didn't expect that.
Could be ball game here. These two teams split early in the year. Illinois with a big win at their place.
Wright 77% on the season, and he misses two. And that's it for Moye.
Illinois coming off a Michigan State 30-point victory, and Indiana 26-point victory. Minnesota 24 points. Northwestern 29 points. Have been blowing people out. Much closer here today.
And Moye taking his time to walk back to that bench.
Well, he will survive the play again. What are they doing here?
Well, he's fouled out, Moye, and they're just waiting, and they're going to bring Donald Perry in. He's just waiting to make sure that maybe they wouldn't make a mistake over there to get to stay in.
I tell you, Moye, who I think is one of the great competitors in college basketball. I were a football coach at Indiana. You know what I'd do? I'd introduce myself to that young man and say, we'll find a position for you.
He could help somebody.
Randall L. was a better athlete than this guy.
He was a two-sport guy.
I know.
But Moye,
I think he'd be on the defensive side of the ball.
Might be, you know, you'd have to say a contender for best sixth man in college basketball.
He's got to be one of them. Remember last year, without him, they don't beat Duke. Never get to the Final Four.
He got to go home to Atlanta. Newton and Moye from Atlanta played the Final Four a year ago. All right, 5
Nobody
points.
wants to make a free throw.
12 seconds to go. 3, Coverdale, yes, down to 2 with 6 seconds.
That was a smart play by Brown, and Cook on it, just hang on to the ball until he gets fouled.
Well, plenty of time if Cook should have one miss here.
But that was the right play. Get the ball on the lob to Cook on the out-of-bounds situation. And a very smart play by Brown to not foul Coverdale on this play. Watch, Jim.
It's pretty close, though, wasn't it?
Well, no, he just pulled his way. See how he got away from that? That was a smart play by that young man, because that could have been a 4-point play. Here he goes up, then realizes that was a smart play by Coverdale as well to draw the foul in case he missed it. Plenty of time to get down the floor.
One miss from making this rather exciting at the buzzer. One miss away, and no signs of missing that shot.
It's 3, still an opportunity here.
Timeout, Illinois.
Timeout, Illinois.
Bill Self wants to go over all the options here. We'll be right back to Chicago.
Let's say this is you, and this is your auto insurance company. You've always gotten along okay, but let's say this is Allstate. Ooh, looks better than what you got now, huh? Well, Qualified drivers who call Allstate for a free auto quote can get a company this good for this kind of price, maybe less. The choice is pretty simple, don't you think?
Brian Cook, one more free throw, which would win it, which would close it out, you'd have to think. Ryan Tapek, there he is, has come in for Indiana. They're looking for a three, the miss here and a three at the other end.
Well, Mike Davis might have a secret play with Tapek coming into the ball game, trying to figure out what would be the thinking here. He's 0 for 6 from 3, so
pretty pure in practice. So I was watching him yesterday, knocked out about 10 in a row from 3. Doesn't matter.
Let's see what his role is.
Coverdale trying to draw the foul on the 3. Everybody backs off. Make 4/10 of a second.
How important was that free throw? And there's the right thing again. Get it to Cook. A little bit too late.
Boy, what?
1-point victory.
What a show down the stretch by Tom Coverdale.
Kind of expect that out of him, though, don't you, Jim?
Senior. Gutsy played on that bad ankle last year in the Final Four. It ends up a 1-point final. 21 for Coverdale, 19 in the second half. Ohio State and Illinois tomorrow for the Big Ten Conference Championship. Oregon and USC is coming up. Billy Packer and Jim Nance saying so long from Chicago. Final score, Illinois 73, Indiana 72. Stay tuned. USC and Oregon will join them at the Pac-10. You've been watching presentation of CBS Sports, home of the basketball championship. Wait for one last game, the Big Ten championship, where a Cinderella is trying to force its way into the field of 65. The Ohio State Buckeyes can claim a berth today in Chicago and bounce one team from the tournament. The Buckeyes have won 3 games in 3 days. Yesterday, stunning Michigan State with a most improbable hero in a most unlikely way.
Ready, steady, go!
Bass is at the line for 2 shots.
Oh, he's going to go! Can you believe that? Ohio State is in the Big Ten final. Unbelievable win.
Ready, go!
Ohio State will meet Illinois in the final, a team that won't back down to anyone. The Illini freshmen have been fearless, and Big Ten Player of the Year Brian Cook combines finesse with a towering inside presence. It's the Big Ten Championship on CBS. It is, in fact, the final piece to the puzzle for the brackets and for the committee, as Ohio State could certainly spoil somebody's day today. Not only Illinois, the Buckeyes going for 4 wins in 4 days, taking on Illinois here in Chicago. Buckeyes with wins over Iowa, Wisconsin, the regular season champions, Michigan State yesterday, and now they take on mighty Illinois. Hello, friend Jim Nance, Billy Packer.
Jim, are you thinking Southern Illinois in those comments?
Yes, Southern Illinois, maybe. I think Clark was right about that. They could be the team that gets in if Illinois wins.
When's the last time Southern Illinois fans rooted for Illinois to win something?
I guarantee they're not the only ones out there. A lot of teams think, hey, we're on the bubble. We need some help today.
Absolutely.
We need Illinois to win. They need a big game from Brian Cook.
Well, you can make a statement right here that this guy, without question, is a first-team All-American. He's Player of the Year in the Big Ten. You could say this guy qualifies to be the National Player of the Year. An outstanding all-around player is Brian Cook. And when you start talking about Brent Darby, you start talking about a guy that's used to playing more minutes than anybody in the Big Ten this year. So I don't think 4 games in 4 days are going to bother him at all. He is quite a leader and quite a competitor.
Difficult man to stop. We've seen it here this week.
He loves, actually, when people double-team him. He probably splits the double-team as well as anybody in the country. He knows not only how to split it, but then when people come around him for the double-team, he knows how to find the open man. Does it as well as anybody with that power and speed and that low dribble.
Ohio State won this tournament last year. Their coach, Jim O'Brien and Bill Self of Illinois. Their thoughts on this matchup today.
Until we get beat and until we're out, as trite as it might seem to everybody else, I need to have our guys understand we're still the reigning champs of the Big Ten tournament. And until we're out of this thing, we need to act that way and we need to play that way. So there's a sense of pride right now.
Until the game actually starts, you know, I think it's just, they think it's just a shirts and skins game. And then we realize the magnitude and things like that because of the unbelievable atmosphere. But these guys are a loose group, and I think loose focused groups are the ones that do well this time of year.
Illinois with a win could be a 2-seed in the tournament. Ohio State has only one way to make it to the big dance. Must win today. We'll be right back.
CBS Sports coverage of the Big Ten Conference Tournament presented by Intel is sponsored by Intel Centrino Mobile Technology. Laptop technology designed to unwire your life. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. And by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
It's child support.
6 straight tournament games in the Big Ten, going back to last year when they won the championship. Sylvester, Rudinovich, Jenkins up front. They fouled out 2 of their starters yesterday, but still held on to win. Connolly and Brent Darby has been their star in the tournament. And Bill Self, his Illini, 23-6 on the season.
Jim, part of those wins in the Big Ten tournament, one of them took place against Illinois last year in the semifinals of this Big Ten tournament.
And an all-freshman backcourt with Brown and Williams. Yes, they met last year in the semis, won by Ohio State 94-88, but a different makeup for that Ohio State roster this year.
Now, here's Darby, guarded by Brown. Brown with great quickness may be able to stay with Darby because that ball low to the floor will be right in Brown's wheelhouse.
Inside, Jenkins got the shot he wanted, but too strong. And out comes Illinois in the white uniforms.
Rudinovich and Connolly, 2 starters, did not play in the one game these 2 teams faced each other this year. A game which Illinois, by Bill Self's explanation, said was the best first half he played all year.
Blocked by Jenkins. What a play.
Can you believe that? Giving up about 4 inches. This is some defensive play against the #1 player in the Big Ten all ball.
The one meeting this year, Billy, you alluded to, was February the 9th at Illinois, 76-57. The Illini, Darby missing inside and chased down. And a loose ball goes to Darren Williams. And 19-point win by the Illini, led by as much as 32 in the second half of that game.
Yeah, we'll get into some stats about that game that are quite surprising. There you see the 2-3 zone. Cook's got to make that catch.
But really, as you said, you almost have to toss them out. Any relevance to that game with Rudinovich
and Connolly.
And Connolly, two of their probably 3 best players.
Absolutely. And, of course, the game was played at Illinois.
Bill Self's only lost 1 game at home as the Illinois coach in 3 years.
Double down by Williams. He gives up. That ball should have gone out to Connolly. Rudinovich didn't recognize it.
Darby had a good look on the 3.
There's that 2-3 zone. I don't think it'll be long, Jim, before we see Harrington into the ball game to see if he can open up this zone a little bit with some outside shooting.
Powell with a nice save. Quick baseline shot, too strong. You just wonder about Ohio State having played 1 extra game in Illinois. And this guy right here, Darby's gone 118 out of 120 possible minutes.
Good job by Connolly, who's known as an outside jump shooter. I think he surprised Williams by putting that ball on the floor.
Augustine with the foul for Illinois. Now they're going to call it actually on Darren Williams.
Nice out-of-bounds play concept. Sylvester just couldn't handle it. Obviously, Darby cannot walk on that baseline there, so it didn't get the passing angle he wanted.
2 minutes into the game, no score.
Augustine open. Powell waits too long to get him the ball down low.
Over the top, there he is, Augustine with 3 Buckeyes converging. Three freshman starters for this Illinois bunch, the backcourt plus Augustine in the pivot.
Sylvester, who got them off to a good start yesterday, being guarded by Powell.
D. Brown open in the corner. Augustine, freshman, with the first 4 of the game.
1 of two freshmen, all freshmen, on this Illinois team, Brown being the other.
That's the all-freshman team on the league all-freshman team, that is. Connolly with a three, and the Buckeyes hit the board.
Jim, certainly no indication this early that Ohio State looks fatigued at all. Matter of fact, surprisingly, it looks like they have some pretty fresh legs out there.
They have so much more riding on this game than Illinois, assured of a good seed in the tournament. Ohio State again must win to get in. And there's a three back the other way. Powell comes up short. Ohio State ball. That three by Connolly makes him now 11 for 20 from behind the arc in the Big Ten tournament. 55%.
He's had 15 points, 21 points, and 11 points in the 3 games. Averaging right at 37 minutes. Bad hands.
Yeah, Jenkins saw it go right off his knee.
Guys that have poor hands, Jim, when they're running towards you as a passer, you're better off letting them come to a stop first. They have a hard time on the move, particularly when they're running at a ball to make a clean catch. Cross court thrown over the top of the zone. Cook's getting a lot of looks on that baseline.
Yeah, but he's missed a couple of baseline jumpers. Foul called on Ohio State. The defending champions. Radinovich called for the foul. Ohio State, we've had only one repeat champion. That was the Mateen Cleaves bunch, 99 and 2000. 99 and went on to the Final Four with Ohio State down in St. Petersburg. In 2000, they actually, Ohio State and Michigan State shared the Big Ten regular season title, but then Michigan State went on to win the national title.
And that particular year, it was Illinois knocking Ohio State out in the semifinals. So they've only faced each other twice. This is the 3rd time. But Ohio State rebounded very nicely, worked their way to the Final Four. Many people felt last year Ohio State really probably was hurt as much as anybody by the NCAA selection committee as to where they were moved after winning the Big Ten championship.
Connolly good again.
Great
Another
job.
three. I don't think there's any question that last year Ohio State got the worst hand dealt to them by the committee after winning in the Big Ten tournament held in Indianapolis. They had to go out west, never even able to have a practice at home. On the line, it'll be Ohio State ball. And then they had to travel west and play in the early game on Thursday, 2 time zones
and
away.
Illinois came right back to home.
That's right. 6-6 at the start.
55 teams with one chance to advance. Make your move to the Met. Thursday on CBS.
Well, Jim, there it is. The time is counting down.
To the selection show on CBS. I heard our guys back at the studio took a little issue with us in our little combined efforts last night, putting Pittsburgh as the 1 in the East.
Well, one of the things with our feeling is that the committee should reward somebody from their natural territory, and Pitt doing a great job winning the Big East. Their first championship ever in the Big East Conference Tournament.
Your point is, if you have, let's say, Kansas is the 2, which we did in the East, you got them pretty even. Might as well give it to the team of the
guy that's home,
region.
sure.
But who knows?
Good steal. There's that quickness.
Darby defending. Only man there is Powell. With the putback.
Powell on the hustle. Sylvester took time, and it looks like Darby is cut. Boy, we have had our share of people getting cut in this Big Ten tournament.
Shots to the face.
Darby is going to be allowed to play. Doesn't look like any blood's coming out. There we see Brown. We talked about the incredible quickness of Brown. And if there's ever a matchup that, in effect, may hold Darby down some, it's Brown's ability, because look at how low to the floor he plays, and that takes away some of that low dribble that Darby has, particularly on his crossover dribbles. And I think Darby respects him.
Zach Williams here, first sub into the game, the 33 for Ohio State.
Should have gone inside to Zach Williams. He had Cook over his shoulder.
Connolly spinning away from Williams. And that rattles out. Cook snares the rebound.
Great rebound by Cook. He had to block out Williams, who is a very aggressive rebounder. Zone packed in now inside the top of the key. The jump shot is really there from the outside.
Cook back outside. Brown.
Brown's got to be ready to shoot that ball on the catch. The zone is inside the three-point line at every position.
5 on the shot clock. Cook, he can fire it from there. And Powell and Connolly collide. It'll go against the Buckeyes.
Josh Powell, another great hustle play, Jim.
All right, Billy, for those who missed it, this was what we came up with last night. Our Sweet 16 seeds, we bumped Duke up to a 2. We revealed that when they were like 15 down against NC State, but they come back to win the ACC title, so maybe they're on the 2 line.
Well, you know, the toughest problem for the last couple of weeks is the Big 12. That Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas situation. And I felt that, and I know you did too, Jim, Oklahoma is the one that got to the championship game. Well, that might have been the separation between Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Inside. And the loose ball picked up by Powell, and he's fouled. Yes, we gave the Big 12 1-1, that being Oklahoma, and a pair of 2s, Kansas and Texas.
That's the 3rd hustle play that has paid off for Powell in this game.
Powell has really come on here late in the season. In the last 11 games, he's averaged 13 a contest.
Well, he was 5 for 5, 14 points coming off the bench. He was a bench player due to injuries, but came off the bench and had 14 points against Ohio State in that regular season win.
Already with 5 in this game.
Jim, I mentioned a few things about the stats in that game. Again, remembering 2 starters were out. Ohio State only shot 31% for the game. And in the first half, they had a half like we saw yesterday, Michigan State. They were 8 for 34, only 23%.
D. Brown comes flying in. That quickness, but misses the short shot, and it's Ohio State ball.
And the rebounding in that game, quite surprisingly, was 33-33, even with Radinovich and Connolly out of there. Today, Illinois a +9, which is more like it, with the advantage that they've had in the Big Ten Conference rebounding this year against Ohio State.
This is the end of the floor where you really wonder how Ohio State will get it done today. What are their options? Where are they going to get the points from? Connolly with a couple of early 3s. Zach Williams misses the short shot. Now
Williams always has to give up size when he gets inside. It's amazing he gets those shots off. Now Harrington should be at the top of the key and be looking for his jump shot. It'll be there for him.
Brown's got the outside shot. Buckeyes in the area, and it'll go against Illinois.
That's Powell. Good blocking out on that zone. Now, one of the things, Jim, in the Big Ten, a lot of people don't play zone defense very much. Jim O'Brien, with his Eastern background, likes to change defenses and go to a lot of zones. Teams that play a lot of zone, they get used to the block-out assignments. And so you can see this Ohio State doing a nice job today keeping Illinois off the boards.
Oklahoma, with seconds remaining in the first half against Missouri, is up 21 in the Big 12 title game. As we see now, Brandon Foose Cheatham in for Ohio State, number 2, handling the ball.
Decent ball handler, not much of a shooter. Darby walks.
Yeah, they got whistle for it, trying to make a move on Brown.
Psychologically, Brown is giving Darby a lot to think about.
One of the stars yesterday right here, Luther Head, coming in for Illinois. He lost a tooth in the game yesterday against Indiana and spent a couple of hours last night with a local dentist.
The special brace in his mouth that he'll be wearing for this game. Had a sensational ball game yesterday.
Harrington. 3-pointer, yes.
That's where he needs to be. And just spot up out there and wait for the ball to be rotated or cross-court passing and get ready to shoot on the catch.
One of the real strengths here, Illinois can go 8 or 9 deep very easily with guys like Harrington coming off the bench, can give them some punch.
And Jim, not only come off the bench, but they can come off the bench in a lot of different positions.
Got Nick Smith in there too, the 7-2 center. Outside, Darby's on the board with a 3.
Good look by Radinovich. What we're seeing so far is Illinois is collapsing down when the ball goes inside. They ought to be able to get it back out for some jump shots. Now we're seeing a man-to-man, and I think with Harrington in the ball game, Jim O'Brien says, I can't afford to stay in the zone. Harrington being played by Connolly.
Cook, first make of the day, and missed his first 4, and it's a 3-pointer.
Well, he has now made 25 of 79 threes on the year. A very good shooter from the perimeter.
Zach Williams backing him in. Soft
Nice.
hook, yes.
Cook accepted that back in a little bit too easily, Jim. You get low box position, even though you're giving up size. You can make it from there with a half hook. Again, back to straight man-to-man goes Ohio State.
Head driving in. Tried to go over to Nick Smith. And his last touch by the Buckeyes. Ohio State's hit 3 out of 4 from behind the arc. But Illinois leads at 15-11. We're back at the Big Ten Finals, presented by Intel. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, Ohio State again, with 3 straight wins here, coming in as the 8th seed. The Big Ten tournament needing to win today to grab a spot on the field of 65 and knock somebody out. It's the only way to qualify for the big dance. Illinois, some say a 2 seed, 3 seed, somewhere in that range. Billy?
Well, Jim, who will ever forget 99 when Illinois came in as an 11th seed, worked their way all the way to the championship game, just ran out of gas against a great Michigan State team.
Oh, perfect lob to Luther Head, and for some reason he just kind of stalled in midair.
Boy, he was up there, wasn't he?
Like just an easy lay-in.
We saw yesterday Cook get the great lob pass for a lay-in and an out-of-bounds play. Head could have had it as well.
Head giving them some kind of boost yesterday off the bench and really feeling like he's healthy. The chip tooth aside, the healthiest he's been all season long. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Bruce Cheatham challenging, puts it up with the wild shot. Yes.
Good aggressive play by a young man who's been bothered by a knee injury all year long.
Looked like a forced Cheatham. Had to try to get up any kind of shot there before the shot clock expired.
This Ohio State team has lost 43 games by guys out with injuries on the year.
That'll send Cook to the line.
Take a look at this, Jim. Perfect elevation. Bill Self says that Luther's the best athlete on his team. He actually might have felt that he was going in underneath the basket.
And there we see yesterday, this was taken yesterday before the game against Indiana. He's all fixed up now, braces and all. Went to see a local dentist here, and after 2 hours on a Saturday night in the dentist chair, braces and all, he's ready to go.
Here's Cook on the foul line. Last year led the Big Ten in free throw shooting. This year shooting right at 82%. He went to the line this year 187 times, which is really solid for a guy that's going to touch the ball on the inside. Just think Darby went to the foul line 245 times. Shows how aggressive he is in his penetration. They ought to get the ball to Darby now. He's got Williams on him. With Brown out of there, I think Darby can operate. Here it is. And there he goes.
Over Cook. And off the shot clock and down. Should that count?
It did not fortunately hit the shot clock, so he got the real bounce.
I don't know. It was close. Top of the backboard at least. Man.
If we had a camera angle on that one, we win an Academy Award. Be interesting to see.
Smith long on the jumper. Darby boxing out, so it's Ohio State ball.
Here you go, Jim. Watch this one. Darby recognized right away that he can take Williams. That ball goes up. Wow, never does touch it.
Looked like a Charlie Bass free throw. Bass off the glass for the winner yesterday.
I haven't seen many off the top of the backboard and in. Good dish.
There's some comeback by Duke today, Billy, to win the ACC as Darby looks up the rainbow three and Cook with the rebound.
Darby's been better off putting the ball on the floor against Williams and driving on him.
Harrington comes off the pick. Yes. Hold on, whistle first.
I don't know about this one. There could be a solid screen call against Sylvester, but that whistle was late. The basket's going to count.
That's a 3. Ed Hightower says count the basket and the foul on Jenkins of Ohio State.
Well, what's interesting there is I thought Sylvester got fouled on the screen to get Harrington open. He got popped right on the shoulder, and that ball goes in, and obviously the whistle came after the shot was released. Harrington does a great job coming in, spreading out that zone defense.
Yeah, knocks down 2 3-pointers. So the three-point basket and possession off the Jenkins foul.
I'm surprised with Harrington out of the ball game, particularly with Williams back there and Brown out of the game, that Ohio State doesn't go back to their zone.
That's called on Nick Smith, angling for position underneath. Back to Ohio State.
And by going back to the zone, they can save a little bit of energy. Chasing this Ohio State team around, this Illinois team around man-to-man is going to wear this club down.
Augustine inserted back in the Illinois lineup.
To cheat him in the game, he's got the ball in his hands so much that Darby's been taken out of action a little bit.
Sylvester with 2 shots in this game where he wasn't really quite set. 20-15, Illinois driving in with head. Yes.
Luther, Jim, realizes that he has that incredible elevation once he gets inside, not afraid to take it down there. Here's Darby doing the right thing, taking that ball inside on the dribble with Williams. And I really think anytime he's matched up with Williams, they ought to keep the ball in Darby's hands, because now Brown's going to come back in the game rested. Williams probably will sit down. Darby won't have that advantage.
Yes, Williams will head back to the bench with 2 fouls, and Dee Brown steps out onto the floor. And here comes Radinovich for Ohio State.
And you see where Brown went? He ran right over to number 4 and got right in his face. It is so tough when you're a dribbler like Darby, when you got a guy that plays low to the floor and has the foot quickness of a guy like Brown. Brown wanted that one, didn't he?
Well, he just, if you're Darby, you just know that you can't turn your back on him for just a second. Brown's so quick. Off the pick, Darby open, and it rattles in.
What happened?
What happened?
On the solid screen, Brown went underneath the solid screen. That's how Darby got open.
And 1 foot on the line. Made the tough shot. Powell gets past Darby, and he fouled him away. They're going to count the basket.
Some play by Powell. Great drive. I think he caught Darby off guard, coming right off that pass and going inside.
First on Darby.
Jim Powell, it makes a whole different change in how you're going to play this Illinois team. He's had a great finish, 20 against Northwestern, 22 Indiana, 18-7 rebounds Michigan in just 15 minutes. He really gives them an explosive score in the front court.
Cook will sit, and Smith takes his spot.
They've got a lot of weapons, does Illinois, Jim. You pointed out this could be a very dangerous team in the NCAA tournament. They can stay out of foul trouble. They got a lot of, now that Head's healthy, they come in off the bench with solid players at every position.
Whenever asked for the last month, I would say this was my sleeper team, but they're no secret or sleeper team anymore. Everyone knows about them. A lot of people will be picking them in their brackets.
Boy, there's Smith. So tall. No place for Darby to throw the ball into the basket.
It'll be Ohio State ball when we come back. Illinois matched its largest lead here. 7:18 to play. First half up 7. Have now just moved inside of 2 hours to go. Countdown to the selection show on CBS. Here's the Singular Wireless fan poll. Who should be the National Player of the Year? Now, we weren't asked to propose these 5 because we would like to see Brian Cook on that list, maybe even win it. But Singular Wireless users can send their vote to 171 or log on to cbssportsline.com/Singular. Stay tuned. The results during Singular at the half. How do you feel about that there, Mr. Packer?
Well, one thing we know in the Big 12, with Hollis Price and T.J. Ford, you can only have one guy that's the player of the year in his conference, which was Hollis Price. So it'd be kind of unusual for a guy to be National Player of the Year. It wasn't his Player of the Year in his conference.
And where would you put Cook if he was on that? Let's say you went 6 deep on that list.
You know, Jim, just like the teams in the country this year, there is great balance for National Player of the Year. Obviously, all of those guys, and I'm not trying to dodge your question, but all of those guys really can make a case for Player of the Year. I would put Cook certainly on that list.
Big Ten Player of the Year. And, you know, so often you see it. A player, a senior, And it was Jeffries in his sophomore year in Indiana, winning it last year. Frank Williams of Illinois 2 years ago. But a team riding on the back of a senior, a star senior. Last year, Juan Dixon. Year before that, Shane Battier. And could this be the man this year? Brian Cook in the weeks ahead.
Tough shot.
Radinovich tips, gets it back. Over Smith. And big battle inside. Augustine is going to be whistled for that. He doesn't like it.
Well, we had some real bodies in there. Radinovich, Smith, Augustine, all battling in close from about 1.5 feet to try to get this up. Look at how tall Smith is in that reach. Jim, I understand that his reach is 9 feet. So he's only a foot. He can just stand still. He's only a foot away from that rim.
And he
there he goes
out
again.
right there. Ohio State retains possession. He's the tallest player in Illinois history at 7'2".
Now, one of the things that players should realize, not only is he tall, he keeps his hands above his head. All passes should be thrown as bounce passes down underneath that wingspan. And he'd have no opportunity to pick it off.